Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope all of you are having a wonderful 3 day weekend. If y'all working and if y'all off for 3 days, MLK weekend. Waiting for Felicia Temple to come in. Hey, Brandon. What's up? Hey, Felicia. Come on in. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. Long time. I love your hair.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I'm glad to see you're healthy. How's your family?
Mm-hmm.
Are they okay?
Yeah, everybody is fine.
Good. I'm glad to hear.
How's nurse life? You hanging in there, huh?
Nurse life is crazy, but it's okay. It's the hospital is
Hmm.
actually okay, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I'm not taking no vaccines. I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna get the swab through my nose and I'm good. I don't trust those vaccines. They said like positive things about it, but the bad things like I don't trust them.
A lot of people feel that way, and although I'm a provider, I always feel like you can't if people feel uncomfortable, they've made up their mind. There's nothing you can say or do. So I just
Hmm.
go with your gut. Whatever you feel is best for you and your house, that's what you
Hmm.
get.
Yeah, I just wear my mask at all times. When I come back from outside, I just take a shower. I'm very like strict on like social distancing, protecting myself.
That's the most important thing. Social
Mhm.
distancing, wearing a mask and wearing it properly over your nose. Um, washing your hands. That's the best thing that you can do. So
Mhm. Yeah, it's like this is crazy. We've been going through this for like almost a year now. I'm like, when is this gonna end?
realistically, we have like another year and a half years of life the way it is now. Realistically, and I'm talking about when you think about it, look at Asian countries, right? After SARS, they wear masks all the time. That's daily life for them. And although I'm sure certain places will start to, over time, as people have immunity and number people will, places will start to repeal the whole mandate of having to wear a mask in their store or their restaurant or whatever, and it'll be up to you if you're comfortable. But the reality is, some people will never be comfortable again in public without a mask, and it's
Hmm.
the culture. Um, but I caution to say it's probably changed the culture for the better because think about 2 years ago. If you wore a mask in public, people either assumed you had cancer and you were on chemo, or you were severely sick with like Ebola or something. People were terrified of you. And not the thought of oh, what if I've got a cold? Or, you see people sneeze and cough. They got disgusting personal hygiene habits. They cough in their hand, they're coughing all over the place and they're touching everything. I
Yeah, like covering your mouth is like you don't have respect for people or like like germs spread easily.
So, you know what? I think things may have changed for the better. Maybe people will start to consider others when they're sick and say, you know what? I should just put a mask on. So, I think in the long run, we'll be okay. But I think we have quite a while to go until, people are just out in the park with no mask. Life.
Hmm. I'm just praying that before the springtime this ends, that this is put to an end, like before this year ends. I just pray we don't have to go through another year of this because it's like I heard like a few weeks ago there's this like disease and that they found in the UK and now it's now in like a couple of states. You know what I'm talking about, but I forgot the name of it.
Well, it's just
It's a virus.
a new strand of COVID, and that it's more contagious. But the good news is it hasn't been shown to be more deadly. It's just more contagious. So, you know, the news is gonna make a thing of it. Um,
And you saving lives, when once this is over with, Felicia Temple's gonna be rewarded.
I have to tell you,
So,
I feel like thus far I have been rewarded quite just
mhm,
fulfillment wise, and just have, I don't need any awards. I don't, I'm no hero for what I do. This is my day job. Like, this is what I've been doing for years. And normally you save somebody's life and you walk out of the hospital and nobody cares. It's just what you did in a day, Now all of a sudden we're heroes. Like, we're not heroes. We're just doing our jobs. That's it.
mhm.
Plenty of people with
Yeah.
infectious diseases. We put on our masks, we do what we have to do, and we go home to our families. And this is, I don't want to say different, but because it's quite different. But we're doing our job.
Yeah. And like, you always gotta, like, go to work, do what you gotta do, because like, nurse life, like, even though like most people say it's stressful, it's the most like busiest, one of the most busiest lives.
It's a crazy life. It's a crazy life. My two lives are very different. My two careers, they're both very busy.
Mhm. Yeah, and like, speaking of music, it's like how did you, like, started off as a singer?
Well, I've been singing since I was like, literally, I was humming before I could talk. I grew up in a musical family, so my dad said he remembers me being in the car, like, oh my God, she's humming on key. Like, like the early memories I have are singing, and I remember being confused going over other people's houses when I made friends. Like, everybody here doesn't sing. Like, it was just a normal thing for me. I've been singing since I can remember.
Yeah, like, and when I saw you perform live at BB King's, where you did an opening
Mhm.
with John B, I was like, oh my God, this girl, she could sing. I need to buy her CD. And when I got home that night, when I listened, like, to the 6 songs in the balancing act, when after the first song, when the first song, the second song, which is Perfection Personified, I was like, oh my God, this is one of my favorite. This is my favorite song on the album. I listened to it on repeat, and when I fell asleep, I listened to it over, and I was like, this song is my favorite song on the album.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And it's so crazy because that song made it onto Sirius XM, and it gets Sundays on Sunday Mimosa. Um, it's a show that's run by this guy named Dave Dixon. Funny because I went to the station in DC and I gave him a CD, and I was really pushing Carpe Diem, which is the first record on the project, as like a single. But I just gave him the rest of the project, and he ended up loving Perfection Personified, and that's what plays. And I didn't even know placed it into rotation until somebody called me and was like, "Oh my God, you're on Sirius XM," and I was like, "Oh, Carpe Diem," and they were like, "No, Perfection Personified." So I guess people love it.
It's like the balancing act. What's the purpose of the album?
Well, the balancing act was something that I wrote when I had cancer. So I wrote it to kind of keep myself busy while I was on chemo, and I was really nauseous. And, I was just sick, and I was sick of being sick, and I needed an outlet. And writing that project was my. A lot of things happened at one time. That was why I was sick. I had cancer. I was on chemo. I had just had surgery. I didn't know if I was ever going to sing again. And I was still trying to have a music career. And I was still trying to work as a nurse. And I had just met the love of my life, who's now my husband. But we had literally just started dating 6 weeks prior to my diagnosis. So there was a lot of emotion going on at once. So that's how that project came.
And God was by your side, and he was like, no, nothing's going to stop you, like, from what you're good at. And he said, and he put you on back on your feet.
That's right. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. There really is some truth that God will give you beauty for your ashes. So, I have my moments of like, oh my God, God, why me? I'm a good person. And you know what? A couple of years later, when I had a billboard in Times Square, at the Port Authority in Times Square, and my face was right there on 42nd Street, on the corner there,
Good.
and it said Felicia Temple, cancer survivor. And I was like, wow, like who would have known all these years later that my story would be used good? Um,
Mhm.
you know, you really do get beauty for your ashes.
So, like, I know, like, a few singers that are like, cancer survivors. What advice would you give to them?
Uh, my best piece of advice, uh, to not exploit your illness. I think the mistake a lot of that's it's not just with cancer. It's diabetes, lupus, whatever it is that you have. I think sometimes people get so caught up in a diagnosis that it becomes who they are. And they're afraid to actually ever really be healed from it because they kind of lose their identity. You know what I'm saying? They start to identify with a community of people, you know,
Hmm.
search and all this stuff. And I was very careful to not, when I got at the time, I didn't share really until it was over. Because people do bad things, and it's sad, but it's true, and they do. Or people don't know how to approach you when you say you have cancer because it's awkward for them. They don't know what to say, so they start disappearing. Um, you know, and also it's very easy to explain things and get attention. And then when you start getting attention from it, you kind of don't want it in because you're getting attention. All these doctors with needle sticks and they're in machines and you're getting all these scans and you know, it's the thing and people like to see that in your life. I didn't want that to be what people felt. So I was very careful in exploiting any kind of illness and when societies approached me and like the cancer awareness networks approached me and everything, and I would say, I'm healed. I'm not sick. You know,
Hmm.
I can tell you what used to be going on, but I'm not sick anymore. Like I don't claim that over myself. I'm healthy. And I think that's the best thing I ever did. You know, talk about it in your music, release it some other kind of way, but be very careful avoiding any kind of illness or disease that you have because people feed off.
Yeah, and there are people in general that are diagnosed like with cancer. They look up to you like as their idol because like your because you're one of their favorite singers.
Oh, well, well,
Mhm.
you know, I've met a lot of people along the way who've been diagnosed, and specifically people who've been diagnosed with the type of cancer that I had, a neuroendocrine type of cancer called carcinoid. Um, and the blessing has been for people, it's a very rare cancer. And people would say, for the first time, has what I have. For the first time, I heard anyone else who has what I have because I live in some small rural town and my oncologist has never heard of it. Or my doctor said that they can't help me. They don't know if they're able to reach out to me and I was able to point in the right direction. So for that, I'm grateful.
Yeah, amen. God is good. And that's like the like what's common the African American community is like people like they get disease from these diseases. So like we need to like find like solution to like prevent like each diseases because it's like a lot of death happened like throughout the years, especially last year from like corona and like from heart disease, heart attacks, like kidney disease, cancer.
Yeah,
There needs to be a solution to like these diseases. That way like each person that's diagnosed with these diseases, they will live a longer life.
that's true. Very true.
Okay. Your second album, Chronicles, right?
That was the second project I ever put out. I put that out before the Balancing Act actually came out in 2014, Bedroom Chronicles.
Oh, okay. Because like when I was listening to it on Spotify, it said 2019.
Yes, so I actually there was To Whom It May Concern, which was the first project I ever put out. That was in 2013. Then I released Bedroom Chronicles in 2014, but it was only available on my website and on SoundCloud. So if you go on SoundCloud and you look me up, like songs like Makeup Sex has like 300,000 streams. Um, you know, these songs were out way before. If you look on YouTube, you'll see the video for Take Your Time. That was out in 2014. And when I knew I was going to do Bedroom Chronicles Part 2, and I knew it would be available Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. I said, you know what? I got to make sure that the first one is available. So I released it in 2019 on all streaming platforms so that people would be able to access it. So when they hear part two, they understand where it's coming from.
Oh, okay. And like, it's like, what was the purpose of the whole album? You dedicated like, that whole album to your fiance, right?
No, because I hadn't even met him when I put that out.
Oh, okay.
You know, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Yeah, that project was just like a sexy coming of age. You know,
Mhm.
I was in my bag. Like I just wanted to do something different. And at the time, you know, none of these R&B singers that are out now, they were not out. They were not doing all this sexy music that's out now.
Mhm.
And I remember two of the records that were.
Because that's common in like, the R&B industry. You gotta talk about like, being sexy and stuff, making love.
You know, it was just a sexy, cool, coming of age type of deal.
Mhm.
And to talk about things that were taboo at the time. Now, not so taboo. People are, you know, a lot more forward. That's 6 years later. But when I put it out, I wanted to be like a girl version of Drake, who talks about all the uncomfortable things that, you know, when you listen to it in your car, you singing it real loud, but you're like, oh my God, I would never say this. You know, like I have a record on there called On the Side, and it's about a girl talking about she doesn't mind being the side chick. And I had people come up to me and shows, oh my God, like I would never tell anybody this, but that's my favorite song. Like that's me. You know, but they can't say that out loud because it's kind of embarrassing. You're saying, yeah, I want to be the side chick. Like, I don't care. I'll be back to your girl in the morning. That, those kind of records, people aren't doing those in 2014. So I was a little ahead of my time.
And the sad part is that, nowadays females are okay with being the side chicks.
Hey, you know what though? I ain't hating on it. If that's your ministry, then honey, go right ahead. Because I can tell you, as a married woman now, when I was single, oh, if I wanted you, you were mine. I didn't really care who you belonged to. That was none of my concern because I was single. I'm gonna do what I want, and you're gonna give me what I want. And that was, you know, that was a savage fee. That's a different girl. I'm a married woman now, but then I didn't care
Mhm.
if that's somebody's ministry. Go ahead, honey. I ain't mad at you because I remember those days. You know.
Yep. Yep. And like, each time like, you perform on stage, what do you like, expect more and least from the audience? And what's your experience like?
Well, I mean, anytime you perform, of course, you want the audience to interact with you. You know, you want
Mhm.
to feel people's energy. The last, what I hate, I do not like when I'm singing and people are talking, or you know, they've got their backs turned and they're having a whole situation. Like I'm not standing right.
But that's very rude.
I've been known to stop my show, like stop. I needed to be quiet. But honestly, I realized after a while that I didn't have to do anything. I would stop the band and just straight sing a cappella. And I know that the gift that I have is I'm out start singing and the whole room will be quiet. Like it's like that.
Yeah,
So those
yeah,
are
they need to give you your attention because you got an amazing voice. It's like, oh, why talk like, while the artist is performing, turn your back on her.
now, you know, we don't have no audience at all. So, you know, it's very
Hmm.
now everything's virtual. So you
Yeah.
gotta give your all to like a camera and you don't know what people are doing in their house. They could be making dinner while they're listening to you. You have no clue, you know?
Hmm. Oh, and your new EP, tell us about that.
Well, right now I have a new single out called Bomb Love. Um, it's available everywhere. It's written by myself and Isaiah Jones, produced by Omar Grand. And I love the record. It's infectious. It's fun. It's like comparing love to good drugs, how addictive it can be. And it's my new project, Bedroom Chronicles 2, will be coming soon. I do not have a release date for it yet, so I can't tell you. But it will be coming soon. I thought I was finished with it, and I decided I'm not. So I'm going to cut a few more records before I release it. But Bomb Love is everywhere now.
Oh, okay. Like, and I listened to that song a few times. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh, thank
You know, on my second favorite, Profession Personified is on my first. Bomb Love is my second.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Listen, I hope you're listening to Perfection Personified on like Spotify or something, so I can get credit for the streams. Because I realized
Mhm.
that after all these years, I used to sell so many hard copy CDs, and that's why my streams weren't so good. Because everybody who listened to my music listened to it on CD. So times
Mhm.
have changed now.
This album right here is what I listen to
Oh
like in
my
the
goodness,
daytime.
you have a
Uh-huh.
signed copy.
Yes. I bought this 2017 when you performed at BB
I
King, so you did an
I had
opening
the
with John.
outfit on. I have a picture with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm actually gonna send it to you. You still have it?
I,
You have it?
it's somewhere. I don't know if it's in my phone or was in on Instagram, but I saw that. I remember that picture. We were on the dance floor or on the right
Mm-hmm.
in front of the stage.
Yeah, we were on the dance floor, like after, like the showcase.
Over. Yep.
And I know that you performed in one of the most popular, like TV shows, The Voice.
Yes.
And like how was you feeling saying that, oh, I'm gonna be on TV, I'm gonna be judged by, like these people, a lot of audience members are watching me. It's like what was your experience like, and how did you feel about it?
The Voice was a very interesting experience. And at the time you're doing it, you're not, oh, I'm going to be judged by all the people. You're just want to make it through to the next round. There are so many people. It's really your first experience. If you've never done reality TV before, it's like when you're the best in your small town where you're from, and you're not used to any other people being able to do what you can do, and then you're in a room with 150 people who do the same thing that you do, and they do it well. And uh, TV is about so much more than just being able to sing well, because it's not about that. They still have to get good ratings. So the one thing that you consider to be your superpower, your voice, your talent, all of a sudden you're doing that, and that's not quite all they're looking for. That's not all that matters. It's not just voice for voice. So it's an eye-opening experience. I'm glad I did it. It was great marketing. But I'm glad that it's past now, and not the first thing that people say uh, when they talk about me. Felicia Temple from The Voice. Like, I'm so glad that I'm past that, because it's very hard when you do a reality show to make a name on your own and not just be a person from that show, because there are so many people from reality shows. And I mean, what is there? American Idol, X Factor, The Voice, America's Got Talent. Like the list goes on and on and on. So like, you don't, or the four, you don't want to just be one of those reality show singers. You want people to know you for your records, because I've realized that singing, although it's a gift, that's not the real gift, because you can find somebody out on the corner that could sing and probably could sing better than me, right? Best singing you ever heard, but they can sing somebody else's records. The best compliment to me is when somebody says, like you said, I love that song, right? Because my gift is in the writing, and writing stuff that people can feel and singing it, and it's my record, right? That's what I want to hear. Somebody telling me I can sing, I get it, but half my family can sing. It's being an artist that
Yeah.
that's everything.
It's like you just gotta like be consistent, at what you do. It's like, just keep on working on your vocals. Like, you gotta make up, like, like lyrics in your mind, do that. And like, me, like, I was singing for a long time, and every time I sing, people say I have a good voice, but I've been on and on. But like, I don't know, if like me, when every time I sing, like now, I'm I was just saying to myself, do I sound good? Do I sound bad? I was like, I'm even thinking about working on my vocals.
Hey, listen, can you sing? Because I be telling people singing is not everybody's ministry.
Yeah, I've been singing, like, before I was even a teenager, but like I've been on and off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever's good for your soul.
Hmm. Yep. Singing, like, it's not easy. If you was born with it, if you grew up with, like, with family members that, are singers, you're gonna be gifted. You know how to sing right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So before, like, we end this, why don't you, like, tell people about your new EP?
Well, I said before, my record Bomb Love is out now. That's a single.
Mhm.
Where anywhere you can get music, you can find Bomb Love. Uh, my project Bedroom Chronicles 2 will be available soon. It'll be an EP. It is the second part of Bedroom Chronicles that I originally released in 2014. So it's a highly anticipated release, and I can't wait to share it with you guys.
Okay. Why don't you let the people hear a little something, something, Felicia?
Oh, I'm at my vanity, honey. I'm not even in my studio. So I don't have anything to play. But click.
No, sing, sing. Let the people hear something.
Oh Lord. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm not prepared tonight. That's not in my ministry. That's not in my shando tonight. Um,
Okay.
they can click the link in my bio, and that will take you to all of my music. Anywhere you can get music, you can find my music. Felicia Temple, FeliciaTemple.com. You can follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram if you're not following me already. Twitter. I'm even on TikTok, but I really don't know how TikTok works, so don't find me there.
TikTok, I don't use it at all. I don't use it at all.
I just don't want to.
It's just not worth it at all. I don't use TikTok. Everybody has TikTok, but it's not safe. Please don't sign up for an account.
I get it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. You're a registered nurse, right?
Yes, I am, and I have my bachelor's degree.
Okay,
Oh,
congratulations.
thank you.
Mhm. All right, Felicia. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.